Hail, hail, and welcome to the 27th edition of the Time to Stand podcast. We are a Hail, hail media production. Well, we're back after a wee break and we're wired back into the world of Celtic. We'll look at today's 1-0 win and look through the side and the top points of the game. We then discuss the new signings as well as the new strips, before we look back at last week's monumental away win in Moscow, where it's pondering on Momo Silla for a few minutes. We finish off the show with a wee look, and by that I mean a wee look at the upcoming internationals before having a laugh at some of the trips to Benfica and Barcelona that the lads have shared over the years. We hope you enjoy this effort and keep listening. So, nothing left to do but see you on our side.
Okay folks, it's Sunday night. Welcome to the Temporary Stand number 27, and tonight I'm joined by, in sunny Glasgow, Scotty. How you doing, bro?
I'm alright, pal. How's yourself?
Not too bad. And down in the funny Free State, we've got Conor on the line. Hello, Conor.
Good evening, chaps.
And just to say, Johnny in Glasgow is experiencing technical difficulties at the minute, but we're hoping to join him into the conversation as we go. So without further ado, building in straight into the Hearts game today. Scotty, you were there. Game of two halves, pretty good, pretty decent end-to-end stuff in the first half. Second half just sort of petered out, didn't it itself?
Aye. I think, see, if we drew one each, you couldn't really have any complaints. But had we won 4 or 5-0 again, they wouldn't have had any complaints. It was we were talking on the way back, just walking back, and you get mixed reactions about it. Some people are going, it was like a training match, and that's what it was. It was like an end of season match. They kind of pushed, but they weren't. I don't know. They had a couple of decent performers on the day. I think put in mind that what we'd done during the week and the fact that he played basically his strongest 11 to an extent. I think we can be happy. We can be happy with the performance. Just like you said, it's half and half. We take our chances. You're cantering that all day. Is it a worry that we're not taking our chances? Nah, I don't think so. We done the job done. I mean, I don't think there's much to be really worried about. But contradicting myself, if we could easily drew one each with that chance right at the end, you know.
Okay, fair enough. Conor, your thoughts?
Yeah, just coming back from a European game, they're always pretty tricky to deal with, especially with a lot of travelling. Hearts dug in, sort of defended, and their tactic was clearly trying to hit us on the break. I thought it was competent and professional from us. I thought Commons was absolutely excellent, really, really good. Scott said it could have been 4, could have been 5, could have been 1-1, but we won it, and that's the main thing, and it's 3 points, and they're always very, very tricky games to come and play off the back of a bit of travel, and especially after a European high like last Tuesday night. So job done. I'll be happy enough, you know.
Fair enough.
Did you think that we maybe should have shook up a wee bit more?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say I would have thought. You could see you can see Lennon took the game pretty seriously by putting out the team, except for Scott Brown. So you're sort of going, okay, he's treating it extremely serious. But as the game petered out in the second half, I think he left the substitutes. I know one was enforced on him, but the other two were a bit late. Like, I think Miku should have been probably on a bit earlier. Would have definitely liked to freshen it up a little bit more.
I think
we'll come to Miku later, because I just want to ask us as well, further on into this discussion, really, just about how we see the new players. But Conor, you mentioned Commons there, but I'm going to throw this question back to Scott, because obviously he was in the building today. Commons got man of the match on Sky, but Ambrose actually got man of the match in the park.
Yeah.
Scotty, who was your player of the day?
Ambrose. I don't know. I can't say Ambrose was like head and shoulders above everybody else, and nobody else deserved it. I thought we forested a competent enough game. He was beating his man. He was getting through. Gary Hooper, while not at his Spartak Moscow, once again worked his arse off. He was linking up well with people and stuff like that. Ambrose kept it simple. He was flinging his head in there. There was a lot of times there was the second ball and certainly in the box. I mean, it was coming and the big man was flinging himself in there and getting involved in it. So for that, I think he gets it. Being the new guy, I think it's always nice to fling him a couple of man the matches.
There's still a bit of rawness there, Scott. Though,
of course there is, mate. I mean, we're not going to get a top-notch player from bloody Israel, is we? Know what I mean?
No. But the one thing that I like about him is he's tremendous confidence, and he's got a great burst of pace coming from the back. He almost glides into midfield. That can work against inferior opposition. What I'd be worried about is the mixture of the inexperience, the rawness against higher class opposition. If you're bursting into midfield and one straight pass, and then you're no man's land at the back. And Wilson again showed a couple of flaws, despite the fact that he's come around again in his performances, and we've all seen that. Again today, there was a couple of occasions, especially in the first half, where he sold himself, where he was brushed off the ball too easily. So again, a little bit of defensive frailties there could have been, you could have been unpicked very, very easily. But,
see, just the travel back to what you mentioned earlier on as well, Conor, about the it's a tricky match after a European away game, which did take place this week. But there was 4 days between the games. I mean, the game was on Tuesday, so you had Wednesday to Saturday really, and a game on a Sunday. Should it really have affected us at all? Presumably the players would have got a day off. Was the trip to Moscow that much of a drag really that it would have affected the game today?
He gives them 3 days off, didn't he, Scott?
Aye, he come back. Yeah. Aye, but he gives him 3 days off. I think it was a mental thing on Tuesday night. I can imagine it being mentally exhausting because me and you were just sitting in the house and they killed me. I don't know. I'd like to have seen to come back. It was myself that brought it up initially, Marty. I would have liked. I was interested in coming to the game today and seeing the younger guys and seeing the newer guys like Miku and Lasad and stuff. And that's no disrespect to the guys with the jerseys. However, we were talking again at the game. Maybe the manager's seen this is my strongest team and we're going into a kind of crunch game. I mean, everybody said it on Twitter, said it on Facebook and stuff. If the results go right for us in Spartak, I know we're going to come to this later, if the results go right in Spartak, then if you take M for Barcelona, then it puts you in a great position. And maybe he doesn't really want to unsettle the team.
No, well, and you're right, we are going to come back to this later and more focus, but sort of my point being is there's no chance at all, in my opinion, that Lennon would feel not a weakened team, but maybe not his strongest 11 against Hearts. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think you saw today in his thinking, that he. I mean, I tweeted myself today. I would have liked to have seen Dylan McGee coming off the bench in the second half because of his ball retention and because he can pressurise teams. But there's no way Lennon would take those chances. Of dropping any points against Hearts. Just maybe if it had been a St Mirren or something like that, he might have taken that chance, but I don't think so. So I suppose that brings me on neatly, Conor, into the next bit of the discussion, which is really just a general look away from today's game, or including today's game, I'm sure, on the new players. Miku, Lasad, Ambrose. What do you think of them so far from what you've seen? And are there any there that you would like to see either more or less of?
Well, Ambrose has been the most impressive. He just looks like there's huge potential in that guy, and he'll only get better. And he just looks to something about him. He looks confident, and he sort of has a nice grace about him, and he's big and physical. I suppose Miku or Fedor has found it difficult, and it's extremely hard to judge. Like, he seems technically good, and even today towards the end, he had a great chance, but he was actually looking to play. It was Commons or Hooper. I think it was Commons in at the back post.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got great awareness or whatever, but I just haven't seen enough of it. And then the other guy, I really couldn't say too much. He's just been very fleeting. So those two probably came with the bigger reputations. It's the guy that came with the unknown baggage. I suppose they're all unknown in a way, but I suppose with Fedor coming from La Liga, we're expecting bigger things. But there's Ambrose for me, who's the one that is sort of just settled in and slotted in and has looked the most comfortable and definitely looks like the one with the most potential.
Is the reason for that, though, that was the area we needed? real supporting. Do you know what I mean? Conor, was it?
But we also needed that guile and that technicality. We keep alluded to this all last year and the start of all the way through the pods. Just saying the need for that creative spark. That number 10, and he's there. He's in that position, but I don't know if it's a lack of games or fitness or I don't know what it is. But it's the inconsistency of not being in the team, and maybe it's the pressure of trying to impress. It just hasn't worked for him at the moment, but that's not to say that it won't. But you can't argue that the team 1 to 11 at the moment are there on merit, so he's going to have to work, or he's going to have to do something really good in training, or when he does get a chance, he's going to have to really, really take it and nail his place down. But yeah, slightly disappointed in those two, but it's still early doors. We're only talking at the start of October here, so there's a lot more games to come, and as I said, maybe Fedora, I'm talking about particularly, maybe he'll grow into it a little bit more. You would expect that he's got the experience, so hopefully he'll come back into it and he'll show exactly what he has.
Scott, can I ask you to come in and make you hear from what I've seen of him so far? It seems to me he's not far away from a goal, and when he gets it, it should open the tin of peas for him. Really, he seems to be getting himself into cracking positions, and he's there, but for whatever reason, at the last minute or the last second, it's just not coming off him. Mm-hmm. If we anything to, is it just going to be a case of, once it comes, it comes?
No, I don't really think we've got anything to worry about with any of the guys, because I think this might actually lead on to a point I tried to make a couple of weeks ago. In Gary Hooper, we've got a goal scorer. So with Gary Hooper playing, you've always got that goal. With guys, I'm afraid to say it, with guys like Lassad and Miku, they look like your second strikers. They look like your kind of what would be now as your typical forward guys who can play for the middle for the centre circle right through to the half. And I think he'll supply a lot more than he'll score for us. His touch, honestly, even the day, his touch looks fantastic. I agree with you saying. I think he'll score it. He might score us. For now at the end of the season, we might get his 10, 12 goals. But I can see his link-up play and his touches being far more important to the team. His hold-up play, he looks like one of the guys, I don't know if you ever remember on the Seville run, when we played Stuttgart away. I believe we were all there. We were all at Stuttgart. And do you remember when we went 2-0 up, and then we went 2-2, and obviously we went 3-2. But at 2-2, we were launching the ball forward, and Henrik wasn't there. Remember, Henrik had been injured. He broke his jaw. He'd been injured with that big fella for Livingston. Yeah. And I remember that this is the kind of guy you need then. A guy who can bring the ball into him, and he'll draw fouls, and he'll keep the play. Exactly what we need in Europe. I mean, Big Sammy's been doing it for us, but I can imagine him doing the exact same role. I don't think his goals are going to be. I mean, what I was saying was going to lead into. Then you're going to have Stokesy coming back, and I'm quite disappointed by the way a load of guys are writing Anthony Stokes off. This guy's been a smashing player for Celtic for the money we spent him, and people question his attitude. What a lot of nonsense.
I raised that on one of the message boards a couple of days ago. I couldn't believe, the amount of people who were completely writing off Stokes and just disregarding his goal scoring record for us, which is damn good for games played.
Do you remember last season when we played Rennes? Anthony Stokes was keeping Gary Hooper out the squad. He was keeping him out the team. Right? I mean, and we're all sitting here going, Gary Hooper should be playing for England, Gary Hooper should cost us this. Yeah, we're totally disregarding a guy who scored some smashing goals and big goals for us. And people talk about his technical ability. I think all that's really wrong with Stokes sometimes is he's too confident. He gets the ball and thinks, I'm going to just beat this guy with a bit of skill. I wouldn't write Stokesy off, and I think Stokesy will still be a big player for Celtic.
It's going to be a while before he's back. Conor, what's your thoughts there at the Christmas?
Yeah, there's two things. There's two things there. So there's two different subjects. So if you, I think when you buy a player from a different league, your expectation of those guys are much higher. Okay, and you expect them to make an immediate impact. And we can go down through history with our forward players when we started to buy really, players from abroad. So you can start maybe with Jakinowski, and he made an immediate impact. Then it was like Van Hooijdonk immediate impact. Cadetti, immediate impact. DeCanio, immediate impact. Tom, immediate impact. Nakamura, immediate impact. Van Haslink, immediate impact. But for some of those careers, they petered out. Some of them went on to bigger, better things and became sort of like fan icons, if not club icons, if you know what I mean, for different reasons. Then you look at your domestic players. So when you look at Miku coming in, you really hope that the guy can play his first few games and make that immediate impact, okay? Because then he'll be allowed the time to have a few bad games, whatever. So those goals, I think, are the creative impacts. I think they're a necessity for the guy's career to flourish at Celtic. But then we've always disregarded those players that we bought domestically. Anthony Stokes definitely been one. And again, if Gary Hooper wasn't scoring goals as well, he'd be discarded. So I think fans are fickle by their own nature, and that's just the way it is. To say about Anthony Stokes being a sort of heaped to the sideline at the moment just because he's out injured. Like, you have to remember as well, you mentioned a few things, but he also scored the goals in Kilmarnock that kept Neil Lennon sane in the head to stay in the job. So he shouldn't be disregarded. He's only bought for about $1 million. He'll score goals in the SPL. He'll be a vital squad player, and we need him because other players will go out injured or will go off form in the season. So it's better the devil, So I think hopefully he'll get back training and he'll get back into the team soon. But for Fedor and Lasad, I still harp back to the fact that you need to be making immediate impacts for your career to flourish.
It's also a real drag on us that there's no reserve league. You can't stick these guys into the reserves and let them bang a couple of goals and quickly, getting themselves up to speed, particularly if they hadn't played football in a wee while. It was actually, and from a personal point of view, it was actually really sad to see Stokes a couple of weeks ago. There was video footage online of the team photograph. And he was really struggling to walk, to get his photo taken with the squad. So, from my personal perspective, get well soon, Stokesy. Scott, you won't probably know this, but on the Sky coverage today, Andy Walker read off the Samaras goal, because obviously we're straight into the topic of goals, but he read off the goal as a goalkeeping error. Were you aware of that?
It was a goalkeeping error?
According to Andy Walker. What did you think of the goal?
Well, it was the opposite end of the ground for me, but it just looked like a smashing finish. I mean, in fairness though, did they go across the goalie or did they go through the goalie?
Through the goalie.
So it went through the goalie. But, God, we see them every week. I can't believe. Well, it doesn't surprise me. My old pal Andy.
We'll say no more, but I mean, I'm not Samaras' biggest fan whatsoever, but I thought it was a tremendously worked goal. The through ball was outstanding. Mm-hmm. Again from Commons, so anyway, we'll leave it there. Also, as part of the Sky coverage, with great authority, they announced that the last time Celtic had worn a away strip was 1983, I think they said, against Sporting Lisbon, which was clearly bollocks, because I remember being at games in O'Neill's year when we were wearing the orange strip against teams like Hibs and things. But what's your thoughts, Scott, on the new jersey with the lovely Celtic cross on it?
I don't know. I saw people wearing it today, and it looks like a nice Celtic type top. I have to say that the Celtic cross is cracking. It's really it's nice and bold, and I like that. Does it look like a jersey? I don't know. I'm no up or down about it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm very impressed with the home and away kits this season. More so than last year. I thought I didn't like the Bumblebee. I thought the yellow thing was an absolute monstrosity. I didn't like the fact.
But the Wasp.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact we had so much black in the last home kit either. But the way I don't know. I like the idea. The videos that go with it and stuff. Celtic have certainly upped their game with regards to marketing for it. The video they played, that was the first time I'd seen the whole video at half time today, and that's good. That's really good. I was a bit. I don't know if you've seen the video where like he grabs hold of the guy in front of him, and I just start laughing. It was very good. So jersey wise, it's hard, isn't it? Because we speak about it. We're in this recession, and we've got Champions League tickets, and we've got all the stuff that goes with. There's the League Cup, and there's got to be a Scottish Cup, and we can sit and say, is it right to be bringing out another 40-50 quid jersey? As we discussed before, it's a European. You need to have 3 kits if you want to play in Europe. So And if we wore an away kit, and the Celtic fans would be demanding it anyway. Oh, bring it out. I mean, you could say we're only going to wear this once, and everybody would want it because it's new. Do you know what I mean? So, aye, lovely kit.
Conor, your thoughts?
It's fantastic.
It
looks nice. Looks nice.
To lift up what Scott said there,
it'd be very hard to get the dirty stains out of it.
Exactly.
You're a man that knows all about dirty stains. Will that go there? But just to pick up on what Scott was saying there about the money, about another kit coming out again. I'm really, really surprised that I haven't heard more complaints about 3 new kits in a season. Usually that would be something that would bring the house down. The Celtic fans, the fact that they've had the forklift 3 times and all the rest. Is it an issue this year, or are people just in the way? Now I've known these kits come out and you buy whichever one you fancy.
I think
Conor?
So. I think so. I don't think there's any necessity that you have to go out and buy 3 kits. Some people do, some people don't. I haven't bought an official jersey in years. Doesn't make me any less of a Celtic supporter. It sort of try and give me money in different ways. But that's the test for people of my generation now. Is like back to the stains. Like, will it hold red wine? Is it easy out? What about Guinness? What about curry? These are the topics that we need to discuss in terms of quality of the jersey. So we'll let the young kids go and buy the jerseys.
Conor, you're right. We'll go to Barcelona, right, and we'll have just in the fan zone. We'll go down and we'll just have a wee look about, and we'll walk about with a big packet of Daz. Right,
Danny Baker.
We'll do the Piala test.
That's
exactly.
We'll see the guy who spewed doing his. We'll grab him first, and then the guy with the butt fast doing his.
Yeah.
Right.
And if it comes out in the white jersey, then we'll all go out and buy one. Yeah,
go and buy it. Aye, brilliant.
We're doing the Daz Celtic challenge, but for Conor, knowing you, Conor, the baby maker, for you, it would be more baby milk stains and vomit and that sort of stuff. But here's one for you. I want to throw a curveball at you here. We'll go back to the original design for this jersey with the Celtic cross. Scott, should we stick with the Celtic cross, or should we go back to a 4-leaf clover?
No, 4-leaf clover, mate.
But the Celtic cross was the original on the jersey.
But this is what we're in now. Technically, we won the European Cup with the 4-leaf clover. I know what you're saying, right? I like the Celtic cross. God, my old team St Mary's had the Celtic cross. This Celtic cross is magic. I like it on this jersey. I think it looks really, really good. But our badge is our badge, and it's no. I wouldn't agree. I remember Fergus McCann talking about bringing the Celtic cross back, and I was against it then. And I wouldn't be, as much as this is nice and stuff like that. No, I want it.
Conor, what do you think?
Reiterate what Scott says. Clover for me, but the cross it actually does look really, really well on that white jersey, and I suppose in a number of years, and they want to come out with another type of jersey to mark something else, then the Celtic cross is great to have. It looks fantastic on that jersey, but just many badges do you want? Let's just stick to the one that we all know and love.
Don't know. I'm going to split the vote here. I'd quite like to go back to the centenary year Celtic cross, I have to say. Anyway, that's one we can throw out to if anybody has any strong views on that, you can contact us through Twitter at Temporary Stand. So let us know what you think. Am I talking through my Archie, or do you agree with the lads, I suppose? Any other thoughts on the game today? I see this young lad, Ryan McGowan for Hearts, seems to be trying to take over the mantle of Ian Blackscott.
Rattling people.
Did you notice him today?
We did notice him, just for that exact reason. I felt there was a few. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago about how, I think when we were talking about the youth players and stuff, how referees should really be clamping down. I felt the referee let a lot go today as well. And then for Wilson to get booked for moaning at the linesman was pretty pathetic as well.
Can I just come in there and just say I thought the referee was a bastard today, and I thought the stand side, Wilson got booked for slabbering at the north stand linesman, but the stand side linesman I felt was scandalous. Some of the decisions he was coming off of today. Was that the feeling in the ground?
Well, you know the script. I mean, see the last I laugh when we talk about Celtic. I don't actually like Celtic fans, but we went down, the board went up, however left, we went down the bottom of the stairs, and honest to God, guys were going epileptic with rage at what was happening on the pitch. I'd never heard so many sweary words in my life. But no, I thought the referee of the day was poor. He let a load of things go. Just, I don't know if I'm becoming a non-contact sport fan or something, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem right that guys are getting walloped as guys go through them to get the ball and the referee's blowing it. I don't know, just referees are crap.
Conor, we had the benefit of watching it on the box. What about the 15-yard free?
Oh yes,
yeah.
There.
What was going on there?
You tell me. Was it just blatant bucket cheating, or is he just an incompetent ref?
A bit of both, you know. But you know what? You know, we spent all last year talking about referees, and I suppose, you know, the last thing you want to do is start raking this up again and getting paranoid and, you know, all of that. Like, the referees in Scotland are generally just of a poor standard. So, you know, that's, I think, what you just come to expect. And if they're good, then Jesus, great. But if they're poor, then it's just par than arm. It's just the way they are. And if they're in the middle, then, you know, that's it. That's better than most weeks. Like, some of the decisions they're mind blowing at times, and they're over officious when they don't need to be, and it's a bit of well, how would you say, small man syndrome sometimes. Like, you know, look at me, I'm in Celtic Park, and I'm going to tell these players exactly, you know, I'm an authority and I'll rule in this way just to annoy them. So I'd rather not just sort of concentrate on it and, you know, forget about it for the season, and we'll go on, because I think we're good enough anyway with the players that we have that they're not actually going to influence. They're not going to influence maybe in cup games as we've seen towards the end of last season. But definitely over the course of the league, our quality is more than enough. Like, we win the game in hand, and what do we go ahead then? We go ahead 4 points or something, is it? So, you know, once we do that, then, you know, it's just game on for us.
Just as you mentioned it there about going top of the league today, it's an interesting. Well, we had all the predictions last year about Armageddon in Scottish football, but I actually tweeted about it today. I found it was quite interesting that it's taken us 3 months of league football to go top.
Has it?
Well, yeah. League started at the start of August. We're into October, so.
Yeah, but we again, just going back to the fact that, you know, there's under no real pressure, and the big games for us at the start of the season were the 4 Champions League games to get us into the Champions League proper, and then once we got into that, I think we started to put on a little bit of consistency. So I think it's 5 in a row now. So, you know, we always seem to find our legs anyway. Like, I suppose last year might have been different, but we always seem to get that, you know, run of games where, you know, it could be 6 or 7 games on the trot, and the teams that, you know, in the preceding 3 months have sort of got to a position above us, whatever, are consistently inconsistent by not being able to sort of string 2 or 3 wins back to back. So, you know, once we put a run together, then we'll be fine, you know. But yeah, 3 months, God, that's not near me, you know.
No, I'm just saying it's interesting. Yeah, the naysayers and doomsayers thought that Celtic would come out of the blocks and take over, and that would be it. You know, Celtic will win the league the whole year.
But we all know football's not that easy, you know. And, you know, there's form, there's injuries, there's other things going. Like, as I said, the Champions League was our main focus, and I was more than happy to let league football take care of itself once Champions League was guaranteed, and once we concentrate on that. And again, it's, you know, it goes back to the original conversation we had at the start of the podcast about, you know, picking your strongest team. So Scott said something really good there, you know, about the fact that we need to have the consistency in team selection coming up to the really important period of these next big games in Europe. So that's maybe why, you know, you're seeing the sort of same team selection and that sort of manifests itself then in the continuity of results. So, you know, yeah, fair enough. It took us 3 months, maybe if it's 3 months there, but I wasn't overly concerned, you know.
Fair enough.
Scott,
go ahead. Yep.
See, Craig Thompson. Now, I just think Craig Thompson is a referee who believes his own hype. He's been pushed up to being our top official in inverted commas, right? And I just think he's a bad referee. I think he's one of these refs who's made a game for himself. He doesn't go by the rules. He goes by Craig Thompson's rules. I thought he was pretty poor today, but my point really was, see, what's the name? I can't remember the first name of the boy, but is it Taul for them?
Medical, yeah.
A smashing player, right? I'm not going to go over and above letting say that Celtic should get him. But we talk about Scottish football lacks technical ability, and I think this guy's got technical ability. And for years, we all crack on because I think he's had a load every time he plays against us. He has at least half or a full game where I've said this guy's an impressive player. And if you look at all the years, let's get Johnny Russell in, and we can go back in these podcasts, and I've always said I don't want Johnny Russell. I think Johnny Russell's as good as the boys we've got. And I would say the same about this guy. But to your talk about Scottish football, I think that Tao was a smashing player. And one of the boys said in the way back, it's the old argument. See if the Hearts played like that every week, Hearts would win. Hearts would be up challenging. But it's the fact that
we all know the Tinker Tailor attitude of the owner.
Yeah, I know. But it's just you think, are they cheating the manager? Or as you say, is the manager being undermined by the owner? But if Hearts turn up and play like that, they'll not be getting gubbed off of Kilmarnock and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it all goes back to the problem there again. It's the fact that they're consistently inconsistent. All teams, like the United could win 3 games and they're shooting to the top, and then all of a sudden they'll go away and they'll play St Mirren, who are probably second from bottom, and the next thing, bang, they lose 2-0. Like, so that the fact that they can't be consistent is attitude. It's attitude and maybe professionalism, and they're not just actually, or they're working with poor professionals, and there's only 1 or 2 of them at that level. So, Taul, he's been around the block, like he's at Kilmarnock. There's reasons these guys are clubs like that have got to make show with a bit of Momo Silla about him, really.
I know that, mate. I know that. That's why I say, don't get me wrong. But however, every time I've seen him against Celtic, I've always thought that's the kind of guy you want to be. You want to be in Scottish football, and you want to be playing against. Because
but it's easier to get up for that game. It's easier to get up for the game against Celtic than it is against St Mirren. So if the guy was consistently playing like that against St Mirren, then you go, let's have a closer look. But the fact that he's not, then good luck to him.
I didn't even know he says he was a good player, right? Stop it.
Can I just say, don't knock Momo Silla. I'm a fan of Momo Silla.
We'll come on this one day. That's what we'll talk about. That clown shoe.
This man helped us win an Anfield, and he also helped us beat Basel.
Exactly. So, there you go. You fling up 2 games. Fling me an knuckle.
Oh well, I'll have a good think. In fact, I'll actually give you another one. I actually saw him playing for St Johnstone against us and thought he was fantastic too. We beat St Johnstone 3-1.
Conor just.
See, now you're going to just shut me down. You're going to shut me down. There you are. There's another one. You asked me for another one, to give you one. There you go. I seen him. We beat St Johnstone 3-1 first game of the season, and a week after he went out and signed him because he had a good game against us. But you may be right. Those sorts of players maybe only step up once in a while and maybe aren't consistent enough. But I think that there are structural problems at Hearts to stop Hearts challenging anyone for the league, and I don't think they'll do it again this year. I don't think Hearts will come second either again this year just because of Romanoff and the way he behaves, not because of the way the players behave, I suppose.
Enough of this crap. I'm a Momo Silla.
You said we'll come back on him. That's not a problem. I'll go back and I'm going to dig my DVDs out and have a good squatch for the man.
The 2 guys in this planet like Momo Silla, and it's you and my dad. And my dad.
See, if I'm in the same crowd as your dad, I'm right. That's not I'm very happy with that. Right. The only other thing about today's game was the match programme. Anybody see the temporary stand on Twitter about 2 hours? For those who didn't see it, in the match programme today, there was a photograph of some fans celebrating with a sort of an unrecognisable player. Only his arse and his legs were sticking out of the crowd and his shorts. But 2 of the temporary stand regulars, Johnny and Richie Forbes, are clearly to be seen round about one of his arse cheeks.
It's Dan Jackson, isn't it? It's Dan Jackson Aberdeen's,
Well, we don't know because somebody else had said it was Van Hooijdonk and somebody else said it was Cadet. So
it's a white guy.
Somebody else said it was Harold Bradbeck.
It certainly wasn't Pierre. Pierre never played in that jersey.
Fair enough.
That was Umbro tap.
Fair enough. So it was either Dan Jackson. Oh, somebody actually said it was Simon Donnelly as well. So there seemed to be
Simon Donnelly played number 7. Did you know?
He did, but the shot could have been an odd game, for the that was before the squad numbers came in.
It's Dan Jackson. It's Dan Jackson up in Aberdeen.
Is that when he had his headache?
Do you remember when he scored when he first came back and he jumped in and there's Richie touching him up?
Well done, Rich. All right, lads. Listen, I'm going to pull the curtain down on this part of the podcast, and we're going to move on to part 2. All right, folks, welcome back to the temporary stand. We've just got a good look back on today's game and a lot of waffle among it, but we're going to look back again this week, and we're not going to labour on it too long, but we couldn't really go past celebrating the away win in the Champions League, our first in quite a while at that level. But Scotty, I know the sweat was heavy on your brow. Talk me through your feelings during the game.
You think we've blew it. You really have. We've took a lead tonight. We've no passed the ball to each other at all. They've got all the ball. Every time we get the ball, we get straight back to them, and then we score a goal out of nothing. I think Victor deserves criticism, and then deserves immediate redemption, because his first touch was rotten. But how many times have you seen players go in to the next tackle overhand and give away a free kick because it looks like they've gave the ball away? So he's won the ball very cleanly, and he's played it down line, and Gary Hooper's done what we all know Gary Hooper can do. The goals we conceded, we could go mental and nitpick, right? Big Sammy doesn't lose the ball, it doesn't come back to us. The ball played through. People are saying we get outdone by a long ball. Give me peace. That was a stunning ball, and the knock in the middle was brilliant. The second goal, I seem to be the only person that thinks this, but I think Big Foster's trying to protect himself for the hard surface. Because if you watch that game, he's got one hand down, like as if it's protecting him, and one hand stretching. The fact that it's going to go is you look at it now and you go, should the two defenders be falling in each time? Of course they should. That stuff, as Conor said earlier on about Ambrose, he still has got stuff to learn, and Wilson, we still think he's certainly got stuff to learn. At that point, we're all going back at so we've let it slip on. We've done really well. Fair dues, the red cards changed the game without a shadow of doubt. The red cards changed the game. However, we were running through and goal. You know what I mean? And you'd always fancy Gary Hooper to score that. So we've committed them into making that mistake. Who would have knows if they'd never pulled them down? Gary Hooper scores, and then we're 2-2. We're on the ascendancy. We might have won anyway. But I must say, see it 2-1, 10 men. My mind flashes back to Anderlecht.
Yep.
And you remember they went down to 10 men, and we sat and went, yeah, the answer. And you would never have known they were down to 10 men. And I was worried about that. I was worried that this was going to come. Celtic were going to push them, or we're going to get nothing, or even hitting a counter-attack. But the way Celtic played at 2-1 is the way that you should be playing with a man advantage. We totally dominated the match. We played with a man possession. We played the perfect game. Neil Lennon's substitutions were outstanding. I have to say, outstanding at the best times. And we got our goal. And see, and maybe it's harsh on Spartak because they worked their arse off at the end up and stuff, but we certainly deserved the 3 points. We deserved that win. The fans certainly deserved that win for all the years of getting mugged. Because we have been mugged, don't get me wrong, we've been beat, we've been gubbed in a few games, Copenhagen and stuff like that, but I mean, you look back to Aalborg, mugged that night, do you know what I mean? You look back to Turin, it goes back to all the things. For the guys who travelled, or who, brilliant, man, and for Neil Lennon, for the players, it was class, man. It was absolutely brilliant.
What I had said during the week, Conor, was that was most pleasing for me was that whether we were up or down in the match, whether we were ahead or we weren't ahead or whatever the situation may have been, we seemed to play at a very, very even tempo. You know, we never dropped, we never went up. It was just a solid performance across the match. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to ask Scott again. Do you think it's Lennon maturing? Do you think it was we got lucky on the night? I
don't think.
Or do you think that this is something that we're going to see in our play a little bit more? Like the fact that he's gone off last summer too. He's gone off to France, and he's looking at the way other coaches in Europe perform and stuff. And you hear what Dermot Desmond said about him last week, that he's a clever guy, he reads the game, and he's very intelligent in the way the game's going and how he wants to approach it. Do you think the fact that over the last 2 seasons, and we've had some shockers away from home, that he's got the mix right now, and he can trust the players, and the players trust in what he's doing? And as you said, when we went down 2-1, it was like we didn't panic. Started to play the game and played it really well, and used James Forrest's pace then when the game was becoming stretched. It was sort of the ideal time for us anyway. So do you think this is something that we're going to see more often, or do you think it's a flash in the pan?
Right, but you can't say it was luck, right? I take that back. Luck is involved in everything. I mean, you look at luck. Even the best teams in the world need that bit of luck sometimes, right? And the fact that we're getting it in the Champions League is a welcome relief.
It's luck.
No, I'm just about to say this, but I'm saying any luck that we go on the night, fair dues. I think we've deserved it for all the years of crap we've had. However, Marty, 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
If you look back, right, at the Helsingborg game and the Helsinki game, and then you even go back to Udinese and Rennes, it's not luck. The manager is learning. And I've had times where I've lost the plot and I've questioned Neil Lennon as manager. I've even done it this season, this pre-season. However mad that sounds, if people want to challenge me, I can tell them exactly what it was. But we're just talking about it. But I said on this podcast, and I've said it to my mates, Neil Lennon's a young guy in manager terms. And the guy's got to be allowed to make mistakes to learn. He's got to be allowed that. And he has made mistakes, and he is learning. And the guy deserves it. See this, Conor, anybody worth their salt has to learn. I mean, Jose Mourinho's been quoted and saying he's still learning. Alex Ferguson, he might be the only guy in this. Him and Guy Roux might be the only guys who stop learning because they're 100 years old. But everybody's learning. And if Neil Lennon doesn't make the same mistakes again, then well done. Because that's the only thing that worse than defeat to me is no learning for defeat. And we seem to be doing it.
I mean, even in the win, there was plenty to learn. I mean, when Wilson let that player run for their goal. But just to go back on the bit about being a bit fortunate, I suppose the most blatant example was at Hooper's, at the Forest goal, where it actually ricocheted off the keeper and another player to go in. But the upside of that was the play before it was fantastic.
Of course really, it was, really and then you deserve that, Marty, because it was actually composed, and it was skillful, and it was thoughtful sort of approach play, and it was great actually to watch it. I wouldn't, as a fan, based on what Scott said over some of the games, like Leon away, sort of destroyed my love of European football. Away from home, I don't think it was ever as depressed in my life after that game. When you're so close to something, and then you just got another right kick in the. I can't curse in this podcast, but where you get the
Marty's
kick.
Been doing it all day.
But so I'm not even going to analyse anything in that game, because the fact that we won, and we won 3-2, and we won against adversity in a little way, so far away from home, with so few fans actually there to witness it on an artificial pitch. Against a club who have a budget maybe 7 or maybe even 10 times the budget that we have, and could go out and spend 12 to 14 million on a player just like that, then fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And I wouldn't get ahead of myself too much, because we've got a couple of really, really hard games away. But I watched Benfica the other night against Barcelona as well, and nothing really to fear there, going to Lisbon. And maybe if we can sort of have the same sort of game approach out there, there's something for us in that game as well. But definitely gives us a fantastic chance now. We're sitting on 4 points. We've got another 2 games at home, and we've another 2 away. So, if you could turn at least another 4 points out of those games, you should be looking, hopefully, at the very least, the Europa football in Europa after Christmas, if not second place. And for that, we should have the confidence now from that victory to really to go out to Barcelona and just give it a lash. It's not going to be easy. You could end up, Barca may not take it so seriously and drop one or two players, and they've got one or two injuries and suspensions. It could be 5-0, it could be 6-0, we could be brilliant and get 1-1, or it could be a 0-0, but give it a lash, because we were sitting on the 4 points now, so use that confidence and see where it brings us.
Okay, Scott, did you watch the Classical tonight, or did you watch that Italian nonsense?
I saw the Classical.
Okay, so we've seen everybody in the group. We've seen Benfica play Barca, we've seen Spartak play Barca. We've played the other two teams ourselves. What's your gut feeling? We're sitting at 4 points.
What's your gut feeling on the future of the group?
Yeah.
For us?
No, well, the future of the group, generally, do you think we're going to make it, or are we looking more likely to go into the Europa League?
I think
sitting at 4 points, or
I think Europa League, mate. I can't see us getting anything from the Barca games, either one of them, and I don't say that lightly, to be perfectly honest. But I cannot see, however hard we try, I cannot see our defence holding it. Right, I sent a tweet to Neil Lennon earlier on the night, kind of on the temporary stand tweet, and I basically said, how about we just go 2-3-5 and we just try and outscore them.
Well, it's a fair point, but in all seriousness, we were talking during the week about how do you stop Messi, and my argument always is you stop the other players giving them the ball. So
how do you stop Iniesta?
Well, exactly. The only way to do it is by putting Wanyama on one of them and flooding the midfield. No.
They're creaky at the back, Scott.
Oh,
they definitely are. And
they don't have a back. That's basically the truth of the matter, isn't it? They don't have a back.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you.
And they also have a dodgy keeper. So that's my point. What you're saying is that go 5 at the front. But it's actually there's method to that madness.
But you've got to get the ball to the guys that are up to the 5 guys up. You've got to get a ball off them first, right? I'll tell you what, Marty and Conor, I don't know, right? I really don't know. And there's been a million guys who's turned up with the new camp with a plan. They were going to kick this guy. And there only seems to be one guy seems to be getting results in the new camp, and he spent about 400 million on one player. Do you know what I mean? So.
I'm sort of. Hang on, Conor. Hang on. Yeah. I'm writing the new camp game off, right? Yeah. Let's forget about that. I'm thinking of home. Home, I am, because that's where our biggest chance of getting any sort of result.
Mate, in my opinion, I'm looking at the other score. Right, that's what we're kind. If we take N, right, out of these games. We came out with 1 point for 2 games against Barcelona, and I don't want to sound defeatist, and I would love us to go and, as Conor says, go and see Barcelona, go and get a go. We really don't have nothing to lose, because it comes head to head. Do you know what I mean? If Touchwood, the 2 games finish 1-1, 2-2, 0-0, brilliant. That's what I'm aiming for, and then we fling or target or attitude, everything we've got to that next game against Benfica. Because you think about it, if we go to Benfica and we get a poxy 1-1 draw, scoring in the last minute, own goal, whatever, I don't care. That puts us above them if it comes head to head, because we've
absolutely
got
yeah. Conor, what's your feelings on the Benfica? Do you think we can do it?
Did Ruben Kazan not beat Barcelona a couple of years ago in the new camp? So there's always a chance. But listen, realistically, nothing out of the 2 Barca games for me. Benfica away, I think we can get a point. And Spartak at home, I think we can get a win. So that would give us another 4 points.
We're sitting on 8 points then.
That would really determine what happens between the Spartak games, doesn't it?
And you can see definitely one of those being a draw, maybe out in Moscow. So that would be good for us between Benfica and Spartak. So
we would be ahead of Spartak on head to head if we got a draw at home.
If we get the one each draw over there, doesn't it?
So I suppose it's still all to play for. It's very early, but it's nice that we've seen. It's nice that we've seen the teams.
It's nice to see the fact, right? There was a load of guys gave up, and I don't criticise people for that, but we're in it. we're in it. We said at the beginning of this, we wanted to see Celtic in and compete, and we've done that so far. We said we would like to get that monkey off our back with regards to the week.
Done that.
We've done that. So is it situation, and we're in a good position to come third, considering we were fourth seed.
Yes,
that's
which is fantastic.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Yeah. And we got a million quid for winning that game as well.
Boom.
So you know what I mean? Bang. There you go.
Exactly.
And
that's your. I mean, just with that one win, that's your sort of your loan fees paid for some of the players you brought in over the summer.
Well, what was it? 200 grand for the point? Is it? Is it 200,000 for a point? And we got a draw. And you're equating that back. That's what did they say it cost to run the academy for the year?
Yeah, that's
200. Forget that. That's the Celtic Triangle or whatever the bloody hell thing.
Yeah, that's our new superstore built.
It's a deposit paid on that. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Fair enough. Okay, well I'm going to stop here because I don't think there's too much to add. We'll naturally be coming back to this as we go ahead. So we're going to end this section and move on to part 3. Alright lads, just to welcome you back to part 3, we're just going to do this very, very quickly, but Scott, why isn't Chris Commons in the Scotland squad, and do you care?
Because he's English. There you go.
But he's been in it before.
Only kidding on. I don't know.
That's like a scene from Absolutely.
I don't know.
So can I ask a question here, Scott? Did Craig Levine, did he I know. Did he say that there were 7 better players in front of him?
He did. He said something. He did say something along those lines.
So who are the 7 players?
There clearly isn't. There clearly isn't 7 players better than.
So
Joe Jordan.
Archie Gamble. So the next question really is it's International Week. Does anybody give a shit?
No. At 100 points
Conor?
next week.
I give a shit.
Oh, here. Who was the guy from Stirling Albion that put the boot clean into Ian Black?
I don't know.
Did you see it?
I never seen it.
But he did a sterling job.
It was outstanding. Whoever it was must listen to the temporary stand, because he did what I had been advocating our players to do all last year, and just totally and absolutely emptied Black, foot clean into the midriff.
Is that right?
It was described on the huddle board as an awesome piece of brutality.
Is there any footage of it?
Oh, there's a GIF going around the interwebs, but I mean, just that I suppose to describe it, there was a high ball about 10 yards ahead of the box, ball coming off from the back, Black running on it, marked by a Stirling Albion player, and he had his eye on the ball coming over behind him, and this guy just charged in and put his foot clean in the Black's chest, and he nearly killed him. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I hope that painted a picture for you. It was kung fu fight, and it was outstanding.
But if we're getting back to the internationals, I suppose you're worried about. Here's me putting my serious head on again. Scott Brown going back again. Is he being selected?
Yeah,
for the Scottish squad.
Yeah.
So you'd be worried about Scott, especially with his the injuries that he's been having over the last number of years. Commons is not in, which is good. Hooper's not selected. Forster make a good game.
Here's one for you. Would you be panicking over Samaras if Samaras picked up an injury?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was surprised he actually played today, because I thought he was holding that shoulder a little bit towards the end of the game in Moscow. So he obviously made a good recovery, but again, you're just worried that you're going into your big games, so you really don't want any of your players coming back injured or whatever. So the less them involved in international football, really, from a selfish point of view, the better. But I'm delighted for big Fraser getting his call up as well. So it goes to show you that by playing for Celtic in those big games in the Champions League, your stock and your recognition levels do go up. So I tweeted to Gary Hooper, all he needs to do is score a hat-trick in the Nou Camp, and that'll be him an English select for the rest of his life. So no pressure there, Gary. Well,
the Fraser Foster one doesn't really matter, right? The Fraser Foster one's good for getting him kind of noticed by English people. But
if he goes out and plays the game and he falls up,
but he's not going to start. I mean, you saw Joe Hart the other night. Joe Hart's stunning keeper. I don't care what anyone says.
He'll not get a game.
No, it's a proper thingy thing, ding game.
Oh well, no, he won't be playing then. Happy days, yeah. But just training.
But
no, his finger or something,
I mean, the whole thing is if Hart gets injured, he's in.
No, he's no. He's third choice. He's just replaced that. Ruddy will be in.
Ruddy, I don't know. After the Champions League stuff. No, but after, I mean, it's a straight choice. I mean, your man's Ruddy shade too. Not that I'm not a fan of England, but that's exactly what he is.
He was playing for Motherwell a couple of seasons ago.
Absolutely. And there's Fraser Forster in the Champions League. I think the England fans would be annoyed if Hart went out and Ruddy stepped in. I think they'd be asking for Foster. No, I think they would. To go back on Hooper then, Scott. Gary Lineker tweeting that he was worth a look after watching them against Spartak. Conor's right. If he scores any sort of a goal against Barcelona, and here's hoping.
Yeah.
He will be in an England squad, won't he?
Yeah, right. Before I answer that, just to kind of go back to something I should have said earlier on, we've been to Barcelona 3 times. Right? I was at each of them, and we went, and all we've seen is 2 goals. No, 3 goals. 3 goals in 3 games, and 1 of them were Celtic. So imagine we go there and we get beat 3-2. At least we'll see a couple of goals. But no, to go back to Gary Hooper, I have my. Do you know you've got that cynical hat on that you just think they want to put them in English squad and they'll give them 20 minutes and he'll no score and he'll never get a game for them again because Scottish football's no good enough. And that's my cynical hat. But it was somebody whose podcast was it recently? I was listening to a podcast and somebody was saying. The difference between when we had Chris Sutton was they had Andy Cole, they had Alan Shearer, they had these outstanding array, they had Les Ferdinand, they had Teddy Sheringham, they had an outstanding array of centre forwards, and we are saying Chris Sutton should get a go, Chris Sutton should get a go. However, now they don't have that great array of centre forwards. So Gary Hooper honestly he would deserve a shot. He deserve a good shot. He doesn't deserve a last 20 seconds in some diddy game. You know what I mean?
I agree. To go back, we were supposed to talk about this actually when we were talking about what's upcoming for the Champions League, but I had wanted the 2 years to give your tips for the Euro travellers, for people who are attending, who are going to the Barcelona game or who are travelling to Lisbon who haven't been. Scott, what's your advice for them, apart from not getting too pissed? Because that goes without saying.
Right, for what one? For the 2 of them?
Well, let's pick Benfica first. For anyone who's travelling to Lisbon,
right.
Sights, sounds and smells.
I honestly would say to you, go to the outskirts, maybe Estrel, and get the wee train in, right? And I'm not talking, see for the young team who are going to go there and they're going to try and find Shabin or Charlie and the boys in some place and just sit there and watch the same thing. Fair dues, I've done that in my past. I'm not going to criticise anybody. For other guys, me and my mate last time, we stayed in Estoril and we travelled in on the day of the game, just stopping in pubs, and we actually visited another ground. What was that? Was it no, wasn't it? There was some other team who plays in Lisbon and all. No Sport Lisbon. Some other wee dinky team. I can't remember their names. And
is this the day you got lost?
No, I never got lost.
I thought you got lost coming in from Estoril one day.
Go on ahead, Scott.
Fraser.
No, I never got lost.
Go ahead.
We never got lost, but we come in and there's some smashing boozers in Lisbon. Lisbon's a really down-to-earth city, and you're not going to have the same thing that you're going to have in Barcelona. Barcelona's going to be, there's football fans coming, we want to get them on one area, and there'll be a bit of prodding and pushing to get you onto this fan zone. You'll not have that in Lisbon. Lisbon, there'll be a mayor. And I would just encourage people to go out to the outskirts and travel your way in and enjoy the city. It's a beautiful place. I think Lisbon was one of the best trips I've been, despite us getting a hump 3-0 and then 1-0.
No, I know, it was so good we went back. We enjoyed it that much. Conor,
that's right.
Conor, were you in Lisbon?
No, I wasn't. I've been in Lisbon, but I haven't been in Lisbon.
Jesus Christ. The cultural phenomenon that is Lisbon.
Unfortunately not.
Don't start me about Lisbon. No, but just to add my own wee bit.
I broke my wrist. I was watching I broke my wrist and I'd watched Gary Caldwell high as a kite on Ponson. So that was an out of body experience.
Aye, it was, to tell you what, I was standing up above him too in the back of the stand in the Stadium of Light. It was an out of fucking body experience for me too. I wanted to get in the body and kill him. So what are you screaming there?
Belenenses, that was the team we went down and we asked the guy to give us a tour of the stadium. The guys, he never said nothing to us. He started laughing at us and gave us a picture of it. And then we walked up and we saw the team training, so we climbed up in a wee fence with our what was it, Superbock, with our Superbock carrier, and we shouted Celtic at all these players who were training, and they all started waving back to us, which was nice. So
because they thought you were out in day release. And I suppose the big kahuna for anybody who's going is the trip up to see the Stadio Nacional where Celtic's greatest moment took place. It was a lovely day the day we were there, wasn't it?
Yeah. We'll need to stick up the videos of the penalties.
That's right. We were also trying to recreate Gamel's goal at one stage, and I remember tumbling my Wilkies, as you would say in Glasgow, falling over myself. But the whole trip up from Cruz Quebrada. For anybody who is going and doesn't know, you head towards the docks. There's a Hennessy's Irish bar, which I would avoid because it was a absolute robbery, the money that they were charging Celtic fans for beer. The train station's almost facing it. Jump on there and it's about 3 stops away. And when you come out of the train station and you just see the forest and you see the floodlights sticking up into the sky, I tell you, it's a lovely, lovely walk. How long did it take us? About 20 minutes, 25 minutes?
Aye. As you say, but it's... I don't know. I've heard conflicting reports that there's a security guard. No, there was no security guard there when we went up.
No, we just walked
just in case of getting right in, and there was in preparation there was a load of young guys selling beer outside. Do you remember they wee guys?
That's right. The wee tins.
Aye. So
dinky tins. No, it was a great day. So thoroughly encourage anybody to go. You know, you may as well while you're there. I know people who didn't, and I couldn't believe it. And just to go back on what Scott was saying about the bars, Rocio Square is beautiful, but the bars are sort of situated down. Most of the bars are situated actually off the square. So go take it down there. We found a small bar that looked after us the whole time we were there.
Yeah.
And we went back, and they couldn't believe it when we came back the next time.
And also,
do you remember? And then also the other thing we did was we hoofed it. Jesus Christ, we hoofed it one day up to the castle, and by the time we got to the top of the steps, we were nearly fucking dead. But there was a tiny wee bar cum shop sort of facing the top of the steps, and we all headed in for a swally, and the beer was 40 cents. So we all rolled down the hill again. It was a wonderful trip, a fabulous trip, and you know, I'm not sure. I think when we got Benfica, people were sort of a wee bit annoyed that we didn't get the likes of Real Madrid or somewhere new. But I can tell you, it's a lovely, lovely city. Make the most of it, lads.
I would like to win, but I'm not going to go back. I'm going back to Barcelona because that was the chosen trip. But I must say, I would like to go back to Lisbon. Even in that trip, it was a smashing place, and it was really, really nice people as well.
We can go and see Belenenses.
Yes.
Belenenses clinch promotion.
And I'll tell you what, Conor. There was a wee woman standing at the bus stop outside the ground, and we asked her in your usual "Ho Mrs." type style who the team was. Honestly, this is true. We asked them who it was, and it turns out that her boy had played up front for them. Wow. And for the life of me, I can't remember her name, but I'm pretty sure we asked her for an autograph, which was...
Did you give her a swallow of your Buckfast?
Well, that was done by that point.
Well, no, honestly, and a couple of the boys who we were with as well headed up to Sporting Lisbon and did the tour of the stadium and said it was fantastic, and the staff at the Sporting Club were excellent as well. Made everybody really welcome. But
to interrupt you one last time, I went up to the Sporting Lisbon ground, and we missed the time. The tour, but the wee security guard gave us a wink and a nod and let us float about. He just opened the door and
that's right. He let you in just into the stadium itself rather than the back. And
we kind of just stoated about an empty stadium laughing. You know what I mean?
As you do. But what do you call the area? It's not the Ramblas because that's Barcelona. But do you remember where all the nightclubs and stuff were? It was just up above Rocio Square. What the hell did you call it? But it was brilliant. It was like a Holy Lands sort of an area. If anybody knows Belfast, tight wee streets packed together with all these different bars.
That's right. Aye.
And
I have no idea.
What the hell was the name of the area? But it was brilliant. You know, it's just a smashing city to get drunken, you know, really was. And Scotty, anything on Barcelona just before anybody goes? What should you avoid apart from getting pickpocketed?
To be honest, mate, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect for Barcelona this time.
The Huns wrecked it for every Monday.
Well, they certainly did. They certainly did. The first time I went to Barcelona, it was outstanding. What a trip, and it was all the people were just dead nice. The second time, I really enjoyed it again. I done a wee bit more rambling about. And then the third time, it was just different. The colours were different. The people were different. It was, I don't know, and I'm a wee bit anxious to kind of get back to how it was. But I mean, I've just got a feeling that we're all going to get, if a copper sees you, we're all going to get hurtled into a fan zone, which is a soulless, heartless thing in the world, a fan zone. You sitting there, enjoy yourself. Here's manufactured fun, ha ha ha, rubbish. So when we get to Barcelona, we're going to do the same. Just head out to the furthest away place, find ourselves a boozer, plonk our ass, and make somebody a couple of quid.
Fair enough. So, Conor, what are you looking forward to most?
Paella.
I'm partial to the paella myself, I must say.
So if you need to bring your passport, your Imodium, and a warm jumper.
Oh, Scott, that's right. A warm jumper. That was good.
100%. We need a warm jumper.
Up in the skies.
They send you up in the skies. The second time I went, I was a wee bit drunk. I ended up in the middle tier, which is a lot nicer. Would you like to tell the listeners of your last experience of this great city of Barcelona and the new camp? Yeah, that's how I kind of fell in love with the club, I have to say.
Would you like to come clean?
I was a wee bit drunk. I got a friend that I know to walk me up to the ground early. I went in the wrong end. How that happens, I don't know. The bit that I get in, and I was in the wrong tier. And I sat beside this lovely wee guy who gave me a piece and everything. And he never bothered. I was trying to start songs, you know what I mean? But then I came out of the game, and obviously the Celtic fans are kept inside, so I'm standing outside, no idea where I'm going. I've grabbed a couple of young guys, and I've said to them, any chance of you getting me back to whatever the square was called? And fair dues to the two boys. The two boys sat in the train with me. They got me on the train, they sat in the train with me, they got off at the right stop with me. They took me up to where I was going, gave me a scarf and shook my hand and back on the train. And I must admit, that day I was like, fair dues to you. I like Barcelona, and I see there's a load of people not in Barcelona Celtic thing. These two young guys were gentlemen, and I would like to think that we would kind of do that for the opposite fans. But if that means that I'm a suck up to Barcelona, then I'm a suck up to Barcelona. All right.
There you are. That's from the horse's mouth there. Personal experience. Fisca Barca, Fisca Catalunya. Right, we're going to bring this nonsense to a close. We've been speaking for well over an hour, and Scott will have a bit to do, I would imagine, on the editing. Yeah. I suppose we'll have just a couple of wee announcements. We're approaching the 300,000th play on Hail Hail Media. Wow. This, as everybody knows, the Temporary Stand is one of a stable of podcasts, of Celtic podcasts that can be found at hailhailmedia.com. The daddy of this end of the podcast, where we all know Celtic Underground is the original, basically cornflakes, but the Lost Boys have now killed off their feed on iPlayer. On iTunes, and the only place you can get the Lost Boys now is on Hail Hail Media. So I checked today, and it's approaching the 300,000th play. So fingers crossed, it might come for a Temporary Stand listener. You might be the guy or the girl who clicks on this podcast to push it over that marker. So this is from when February, I think Harper and Joe pulled this together. That is a phenomenal milestone, and it's only going to get bigger. And if I was the mainstream media in Scotland, I would be really, really, really worried. It's a real thumb in the eye for them. And Scott, you just want to make a quick announcement about our new format, I suppose, from this week coming. We're changing days.
Yeah, we're going to start recording on a Thursday. We're not sure what time on a Thursday. The aim will be to get it out on a Thursday night, just like we do the new. It'll be like, when I say Thursday, it'll generally be like slipping into Friday morning, but essentially we're going to try and get it out for a Friday night at latest. We've took a wee bit of feedback from various places. We're maybe going to be changing the format slightly, Marty. That's right, what I'm saying, huh?
Yeah, well, we sort of don't want to get into the whole, next match, past match, next match, and that sort of thing. It's to try and make it a bit more weighty with a bit more discussive topics. But we were supposed to talk tonight about the Next Gen series. Johnny, the podcast listener here, deserves great credit because he goes and watches the youths as much as he can, and he flagged up towards the end of last season that Tony Watt was going to be a player, and we all know how well Tony's done. So we wanted to have a discussion tonight on the Next Gen, and it just didn't come off for technical reasons. So we can maybe pick that up again on Thursday, have a wee look at what's going on there, and sort of to add a bit of meat to the bones really to the Celtic chat, because there is so much choice on Hail Hail Media. There's so much choice out there in Tinderland, regarding Celtic. So it's I suppose just to throw a different set of clothes on that. Would it be right?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think some of the guys. Sorry, Conor. Some of the guys some of the guys have picked up where, as you say, Celtic Underground have left off. And I know that we're all doing the same thing because we've all got different opinions. But I think there's a lot of topics to be talked about, and we'll be putting our hand out as well and kind of looking for people to fling us topics that they think we should be discussing as well, and just maybe connect more with listeners to try and get a wee bit more feedback and get their more involvement and stuff in the future.
Absolutely, and as I said earlier on, if you have any ideas or if you want things for us to focus on or you'd like to come on yourself, it's at Celtic. It's at Temporary Stand on Twitter. So give us a shout. Okay, lads, listen, is there anything else that I've missed, or is that okay? Right, lads, listen, I'm going to pull this to a close. Okay, listen, thanks. Thanks very much, and we'll speak during the week.
God bless you. Night. Take care.
Night, boys. All the best.
Hawaii.
That's us for the Sunday night. To confirm what we said at the end, Temporary Stand will now be recorded on a Thursday night, which suits some of our contributors just a wee bit more. And we'll be taking that wee change of tack, like we said. We're going to stick with the plan for a good few weeks, but then we'll be looking for some feedback just to see how we're getting on. As always, all feedback is welcomed and appreciated. You can be directed to us on Twitter, it's at Temporary Stand. You can email us at temporarystand@realheelmedia.com or get us in the messages. That's us for another night, so good night, God bless, hail hail.